Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Stock Market for Dummies. My name is Naishara and I'm based in Zimbabwe. Now I get asked a lot of questions, a lot of people asking me questions to say, what companies should I be buying? I get people asking me, what do you think about OK Zimbabwe? What do you think about Delta? What do you think about Econet? And my answer to them always is to say, you should be able to understand the business that you are buying into. So today I thought I could come up with what we call a stock market buying checklist. It's going to be in 3 parts, but today we'll just look at one part, which I call the business pillar, which is a checklist that you need to do for every company that you're buying into. The number one question that you need to ask yourself is, do you understand the company? When you see the name on the stock market on the price sheet and say there's a company called Axia, do you know what it does? Do you know how it makes its money? These are the simple questions that you should be able to answer before you buy that particular company. So the first question is the business understandable? You should not be buying, or you've got no business buying a business that is complex, a business that you don't understand how it operates. Because at the end of the day, you might see if those who are running the companies, the financial directors, the chief executive officers, if they are not honest enough, if they don't disclose information, you will not be able to understand whether the company is making money or is not making money. That's why sometimes you hear that this particular company is now under liquidation, and yet a few years ago it was touted as one of the best performing companies in the world. Steinhoff is a good example in South Africa. It was touted as one of the biggest companies in the world. Its proprietor Christopher Weiss was said to be one of the most astute business people in the world, but a few years down the line, the company collapsed. We've got examples here in Zimbabwe where executives of particular companies, they were given awards. And yet a few years down the line, or just a year after they were given awards as the best or the top business person of the year, we saw the companies are collapsing. One of the things is that when you invest in such a particular company, when it collapses, and because you don't understand how it operates, it collapses and it ends up collapsing. So this is number one question that you should be able to answer to yourself, to say, is the business understandable? The next question that you have to answer is, can you describe what the business does in your own words? If I'm to ask you, you want to invest into Delta, do you know what it does? Do you know how it makes its money? Simple question, isn't it? You know that Delta, they're into production or brewing of alcoholic beverages. You also know that they are into bottling of soft drinks, especially those under the Coca-Cola brand. You also know that they do traditional beer. They are the owners or the producers of Chibuku Super. So it's a business that you can actually describe in your own words. You can actually tell, to say, I've seen the plants. I've seen their plants in Workington. I've seen their plants in Bulawayo. I've seen their plants all over the country. So it's a business that you can actually describe in your own words. How does the company make money? It's also another question that you should be able to answer, to say, how does this particular company make its money? A lot of people are invested, for example, into, let's say, into Econet. You should be able to know, how does Econet make its money? Simple, isn't it? They sell airtime. They also sell data. They also sell SME bundles. That's how they make money. So you should be able to tell how this particular company makes money. How has the company evolved is another question that you need to answer, to say, over the years, since its inception, how has it evolved? Is this particular company growing? You can see that by the volumes that it is producing. Is it expanding? You can see that by the revenues that it is producing. You can also see that by the profits that it is making, to say the company has actually evolved. If you look, for example, at Econet, when they started, they were just a mobile network company, but they ended up having EcoCash, EcoSure, and they actually ended up unbundling the company and to come up with Cassava Smart Tech, which is now a separate company. So that's how the company has evolved, and we continue to see growth in this particular company. So that's a question that you also need to be able to answer. Who is the customer of the business? is another question that you should be able to ask her to say, who buys from this business? If you look at a company like Econet, for example, you know that they've got 10 million subscribers. So exactly, you already know the custom of this to say everybody, all body. It's a company for all body. Anyone needs to use a mobile network a product. So again, you know the custom of this business to say it has got 10 million subscribers. When you look at the numbers for Delta, again, I'm using these two as examples. They are the biggest companies in the country. If you look at Delta as well, you're like, okay, everybody in a family, when they buy groceries, they buy soft drinks. Those who drink, they buy alcohol. So you know that these are the customers of this particular company. And then what is the retention rate of the customer? What is the retention rate of the customer? To say when somebody buys from this particular company, is it a once-off thing? If somebody is buying from TV Sales and Home, which is a subsidiary or a unit of Axia, is it a once-off thing? Do they always come back to TV Sales and Home to buy their products? So that's the customer retention and the retention rate. And another question that you also need to ask to say, what pain does the business solve for the customer? Is this particular company essential? If you're talking about, I'm trying to avoid to use Delta again. Probably you can talk of Padenga, which is also listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. We know that they breed crocodile skins. Who buys these crocodile skins? We know that these are luxury products that they export into Europe, that they export into Asia. So already you know what pain points does the business solve for the customer. They provide luxury products to the customer. So again, you now know what the business is all about. And then the other question is, does the company have a durable competitive advantage? Does it have a durable competitive advantage? When you look at Delta, for example, especially in the alcoholic beverages space, do you think any other company can come into Zimbabwe and challenge Delta? When you look at EcoCash, do you think any other product by a mobile network operator will come up and challenge what EcoCash does? These are the questions that you need to be asking yourself or to answer and say, can the company, how durable and competitive advantage does this particular company have? And then the other question is, can the company raise prices without losing customers? Again, it's an issue of competition to say, if this particular company is to increase the price of its products, will it retain customers? Or the demand for its products will come off? Does it sell inelastic products? So these are the questions that you need to be asking again when you are trying to buy a company. And then obviously, does the business operate in a good or bad industry? When you look at the mobile or the telecoms sector, for example, and you know the company Econet operates in that particular space, is it a good or bad industry? It's your homework to do. Any company that is listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, you look at the banking sector, for example, where we've got several banks. Is it a good or bad industry at the moment? We know that banks are, at the moment, their lending rate is around, loan to deposit ratio is around 37%. Is it good or bad for that particular industry? Does that show growth? What is it exactly? This is a question that you should be able to answer if you are going to be buying into stock. And the last thing on our stock buying checklist, and we are looking at the business pillar. I said it is going to be in 3 parts. And today we have focused on the first part, which is the business pillar. And we are now saying this is the last question that you should be able to look at as well as you do your stock buying checklist. What is the competitive landscape and how competitive is this particular company? When you measure it or when you benchmark it against competitors, how competitive is your company in the particular business that it operates in? So that's the business or the stock buying checklist that we have brought for you here on my channel. Stock Market for Dummies. We are going to be putting information where you can actually be able to subscribe, and also to our channel as well. Also, please do share widely, because we don't want anyone to be left behind when it comes to the buying and selling of shares. Like I said, this is Stock Market for Dummies, so we deal with all the basics of stock market investments, and this is our second video where we're actually looking at when people ask you questions to say which counter should I be buying, this is the checklist that you should give them, and to say please do a checklist. This is a business pillar checklist. Please do this and see if you are now able to answer each and every one of these 10 questions that we have addressed today. If you're able to answer those, then you should be able to at least, you're now 30% towards being able to buy this particular company. So that's what we had for you today on the Stock Market for Dummies channel. My name is Kudzanai Sharara and I'm based in Zimbabwe. If you want to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen, 0772-768-370. And if you want to follow me on social media platforms, I'm mostly on Twitter at Kudzi_Sharara. That's KUDZIE_Sharara. And in most cases, you find us talking about all things stock market investments and all things money matters and everything in between about economic issues that also have got a bearing on investing on a stock market. So until next time, please do share this video widely to your friends. And as I said, we do not want to leave anyone behind. Happy investing.